أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the series of webinars organized by Khoja. Khoja provides various services, and amongst those was the formation of a task force to deal with the challenges of COVID-19 by our members here in Europe. One of the recommendations of the task force was to look at the economic challenges that will result due to the lockdown. The team tasked with this challenge came up with the idea of using webinars as a platform to bring together experts and professionals to be able to interact and share their experiences. The objective is to inspire and motivate our community to tease out the potential that resides within and relook at entrepreneurship, which was primarily the reason why our forefathers risked their lives to cross oceans. Today, we have a panelist of 4 experienced individuals for you to quiz and learn from their journeys of life. I suggest and encourage you, the attendees, to type in your questions within the chat area, and they shall attempt to provide some inspiration. May I also request for your feedback, any suggestions for topics or subjects that would interest you to attend future webinars. Please visit the Khoja website or write to secretariat@khoja.org. I now hand over to Riza Huda to introduce the presenters for today. Right.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate your presence here today. If any of you did tune in over the weekend on the WF long marathon meeting, then kudos to you for being here as well, because I appreciate it must have been a very tiring process to go through that all. So thank you for coming along. So today the subject is all about reinventing yourself in a digital world. You know, the world has obviously changed a lot over the last 3 or 4 months since we entered the pandemic. And the idea around putting on this session was to talk about our personal experiences, the 4 of us on this panel, and help to provide some experiences, sharing our stories, and giving you all potentially some motivation, inspiration, and being there to support one another in our journeys forward, in particular within our businesses and our personal brands. Now, we are in unprecedented times and uncertain times, or are we? You know, that is a question that people have raised, that actually, as far as business is concerned, it is not unprecedented times. We have been through times in the past where events have happened that have really shaked our business in a big way. Take, for example, the internet. When the internet came along, that really shook up business in a big way. And the companies that adapted and evolved and changed to suit the new landscape thrived and prospered. And those that didn't and were set in their ways in the status quo didn't and fell by the wayside. Fast forward a few years, we had the advent of things like streaming. Streaming came along. Some people were slow to the take. Others took to it really quickly and saw the future. Companies like Blockbuster, who relied on their old model of renting DVDs, didn't move on to the platform to compete with the likes of Netflix and such like, went by the wayside because they couldn't adapt and pivot and change their business models to keep up with the times. So similarly, we're in a position today where, yes, the landscape has changed. There are challenges like never before, but these are not uncertain times. These are times where we have circumstances present upon us, but we can also pivot and change and adapt the ways of working to ensure that we can still survive, thrive, and prosper given the circumstances we are in. So that's kind of just a brief intro of what today is all about. And without further ado, I will move on to the other presenters just to give a brief introduction about themselves and about their journey. And then we'll ask a series of questions to get the discussion going, to perhaps direct and share some of our learnings that we have picked up over the course of our journeys. And please, if you all watching at home, if you have any questions, this is your time. Please do put your questions in the Q&A mode, in the Q&A panel within this webinar Jam software. It's the first time we're using it. We're normally Zoom fans, so it's the first time we're using the software, but hopefully it's not too dissimilar to Zoom, so you should be able to get the hang of it pretty quickly. So I'm going to go around the panel one by one, starting off with Fatima Dewji, who is the current marketing director of Metal. Please, can you give us a short introduction about yourself and your journey to date? That'd be great.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for having me on this panel. So yeah, my name is Fatima Dewji. I am the marketing director of METL. So I basically handle about 150 brands. I'm a 2-time published author. And as a side hustle, I do a lot of mentorship, and I help businesses grow. And you know, I'm a TEDx speaker, and I'm very passionate about golf and fitness that I've been doing for a very, very long time. So that's just a short introduction.
Thank you very much, Fatima. You've been very modest in your achievements and what you're doing. I'm sure if everyone at home just Googles up Fatima, you'll see that she is plastered all over online, on YouTube, on Instagram, and you name it, she's there. Thank you, Fatima. So on to MJ, you're next.
So, assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyid Muhammad Jawad. I'm known as MJ as well. So basically, my journey started last year, where I actually took the opportunity to pivot. And there's one of the kids. Salam. Obviously, I guess when you're live, you know, you can't really stop stuff like this from happening, right? So basically, last year my journey started when I had a heart attack. Prior to this, I was a recruitment consultant, a recruitment business owner, and sorry about that. You see, this is the beauty of the digital landscape and the digital world that we live in today, right? Okay? It gives us all a personal flavor of what's going on, especially during lockdown. You know, had this not been lockdown, it would have been a different scenario. However, last year, having had a heart attack, you know, I suddenly realized that, you know what, I'm not into recruitment anymore. Decided that, you know what, I'm going to can it all in. And out of nowhere, just out of pure boredom, picked up my phone and started videoing things that were happening around the ward. And before you knew it, you know, I realized, well, I can actually film, you know. And so as months went on as a hobby, you know, I done my first production, got shortlisted as the best recruitment video marketing video of 2020. And as they say, here we are.
Fantastic. Awesome. That story is so inspiring. And I guess it took something for it really dramatic to make it happen for you, but you know, alhamdulillah, you survived to tell the tale, and now you're doing something you love and you're in your passion. So that's fantastic. Thank you, MJ. Mahmoud, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Mahmoud. I'm a speaker coach and a business coach. My life actually started when I was a dentist. And in 2016, quite a few things happened in my life, and I realized that that's something I didn't want to do anymore. I didn't really like it. And I found my gift. I found what I was great at. I always believe that Allah has given us a gift, something we're great at doing. And the journey in the life we have is to find what we're great at. And you know, the great thing about business is business isn't about making money, but it's about changing lives. And through that, we can grow tremendously. So things changed for me a lot. I started speaking around the world. I had events over here where I teach people how to start their own businesses, coach and mentor business people. And when lockdown happened, life for me changed completely, because I was on a plane every 2 weeks. And all of my stuff was event-based, and I didn't have anything online. I had obviously my social media online, but I didn't have any events online. And obviously, so in the last 2 months, I've had to pivot completely, and I've relaunched everything online. And I feel it's the biggest gift I've been given. And one of the things I've been helping new people to do right now is to pivot, start businesses, and to start making an income using their gift online. So that's what I've been doing over the last 2 months.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mahmoud. Just a brief intro about me. I started life as a boring accountant, would you say? So back in the day, I trained with PwC. I became a chartered accountant and chartered tax advisor. I always knew in me that you know, accountancy. I couldn't wait for the day that I qualified and got my letters, and I was thinking about the next business idea that I was going to go away and I was going to set up my own shisha cafe. Thankfully, the smoking ban came in 2007, just as I was about to do that, which derailed me completely, but that was a huge blessing in disguise. I ended up actually buying into a smaller practice. So although not quite, the shisha cafe business, it was still a business to run, albeit an accountancy firm. And I did that in 2008. And over the course of the last 12 years, I managed to transform this accountancy practice in what it is today. A thriving firm, very profitable, very successful, and an example for other firms around the country. We were in the top 5 small firm of the year Accountancy Excellence Awards last year. I then started a coaching and mentoring business for other accounting firm owners about a year ago, and that's what I have been pursuing very heavily over the last 12 months, to coach and mentor other accountants on a totally virtual basis through virtual mastermind and mentoring programs to help them build more enjoyable, successful, and impactful accounting firms. And I've done all that online. So, we're all here. We all have our respective experiences in doing this. So, again, I request if there's any questions, if you have any specific questions for any of the presenters on the panel, just put our names in brackets so I can direct the question to the right person. But just to get started, so I guess we're all here because we're active on social media. If somebody wants to get started on social media, isn't online yet, has a business, has something, a passion that they want to pursue, and they want to know where to start. So going around the room, Fatima, can you start us off with, how did you first get started with social media? What was the first kind of things you did to get established online? So, other people can maybe take some lessons from that.
So, it's very difficult to remember when I started, because it was a while ago. And just a little bit about my journey as well. I studied finance and management, and I, just like you, I hated it. So I graduated with a finance degree, and I came back home, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take a year off, and then I'm going to work for a year, and then I'm just going to go and do Middle Eastern studies. And so it just so happened that, I have a curious mind. I started, looking at different aspects of the business, and I realized we weren't doing any marketing whatsoever. And so anyway, so it's very difficult to trace back to when I started, but I do give classes on social media marketing. And I think that one of the most important things, and I know this sounds really easy, but just start whatever it is that you want to do, start. And number 2, make sure that you understand why you're doing what you're doing. It's very important to put yourself out there and really talk about what inspired you to get into whatever it is. Maybe it's, with Mahmoud, I know you do a lot of health and fitness, and you talk a lot about, motivation. So it's so important to talk about what your journey is, because I think that people relate to other people's emotions, and they relate to other people's stories. And another thing is that, be authentic. It's very important to be yourself, to provide information that's valuable. So I learned this very early on, that if your content is educational and it's adding value, then I think that it's going to get a lot more traction, and also engagement with your users. Make sure that you're constantly talking to your users, because for me, it's market research for me. When I'm speaking with people online, now that, especially everything is going digital, I'm able to learn things online, like what's happening with my products, what people like, what people don't like, and I'm able to gain that feedback from, my customers. So those are just few of the tips I have for social media marketing.
Thank you. Excellent, Fatima. Thank you. Mahmoud, what is the importance of being online today, would you say?
See, I actually believe one of the biggest gifts we've ever got right now is things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, and things like that. Back in our parents' day, everyone's got a message. And before, how would you get that message out? And right now, a lot of the time, we don't like to use these platforms, right? Because we think, maybe they're for kids and things like that. But the truth is that this is where the world is right now. And there's someone around the world, as Fatima rightly said, right? Everyone has a message. Everyone has a story. And there's someone around the world who could really, really learn, who would love to learn from what you know. And for me, that's the most important thing we can ever do. So to actually just get out there and start putting things out, find out what you're passionate about, see what you like, see what you really enjoy, and just start getting on these platforms. I mean, it's a gift. We've never had a way where we can reach the world like we can now for free. Right? Before, to have a live TV channel, you'd have had to pay hundreds of thousands of pounds. Now you've got Facebook Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live's coming. Like, you've got all these free TV channels, right? And I think each and every one of us do need to make use of these. Really, we do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mahmoud. That's so true. MJ, same question to you. So how did you first get started on social media? I know you were doing your recordings to find your passion in photography and videography. When did you start sort of sharing that with the world, and how did you go about it?
So my journey with social media actually began roughly about 9 years ago now, when I was running my recruitment company, and 80% of all of my business came purely from social media. That's through advertising, looking for candidates, gaining new clients, just general social media marketing. So basically from that point there, I had understood exactly how it's working and had a feel for it. Now, previously, I have actually done marketing management in my degree, but my mouth has always been bigger than my brain. So I never really sort of put that into use, unless it was on the phone trying to call someone and pitch them or close them. But using social media, and especially LinkedIn and Facebook, for me, have been absolutely amazing. Now, fast forward a little bit, I didn't realize the true power of social media until 2 years ago, where my company was going through a bit of a growth phase, and we were sort of pivoting ourselves. And one thing that I realized is that in order to get more engagement as a company, I had to ditch the brand name. I started approaching the market as me, as myself, because one thing we all need to remember is that, every brand is just a name, but the thing that people connect with is behind the brand is the people. So therefore, a lot of businesses will get a lot of success if you are connecting out there as individuals, as human beings, as people. Now, with that, I started making a lot more connections. My LinkedIn just boom, skyrocketed. Facebook up. Instagram still haven't reached 1,000 yet. So if you want to follow, quick little cheap plug there. For all of us, by the way. It is all about personality. Okay, now when it does come to social media, all I started using social media for is just to share my content, to share my thoughts, my opinions. And one thing that I found is sharing an opinion, okay, you've got to be very politically correct here, okay, because you don't upset all the aunties and uncles and dadas and daddies, because they might know where you live, and or they might tell your parents what you've been up to, right? So you've got to be really careful about that. All right, so it is a very tight fine line that you have to walk. But when you do put an opinion out there, the aim should be, if you're looking to really get social media stardom, the aim should be start a conversation, because it's all about engagement. Okay, simple. If you don't mind, Rosa, I just want to give everyone a quick little hack. Next time you post something out there, okay, like for example, if you're on Facebook, right, and you've posted a wonderful selfie of yourself with the barbecue in the background and a can of Coke, what you should do is send that link, okay, to a few people on WhatsApp, and just simply tell them, share it and like it. All right. Basically, the Facebook algorithm or any social media algorithm, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is, all these algorithms will see the amount of interaction and engagement within the first hour. And what do we mean by engagement? It's the likes and the comments, and more specifically, the comments and the shares. So if somebody has commented, straight away, okay, you go out there and you comment. Now, to give you an example, whenever we put a video out there, I spend half an hour to 45 minutes before posting a video on social media, engaging on all platforms, talking, so the algorithm knows that, hey, MJ is about to launch something, quickly try push him up. You post it and then you launch it out, right? And then I spend another 1 hour after that on social media, just commenting and talking around it, sharing in all these other sort of groups as well. So, like sister mentioned, right? Get out there and do it. Okay. A lot of people tend to live, like an alternate lifestyle on social media, and hey, that's fine if you want Instagram stardom, right? But the reality is that in order to get a true following and true stardom on social media, you have to be yourself. Doesn't matter what anyone says. You got to be you.
Thank you, MJ. You kind of skipped to the tactics bit as well. So we're going to come to that later, but that's
Laura, I've got loads more to come.
Thank you. No, that all very, very valid comments on that. The only thing I'd like to add is that, in an increasingly digital world, for us to connect with our customers, we have to be online, because your customers are online. No matter what business you're in, even if you're in an offline business, even if you run a shop or a warehouse or whatever it may be, your customers are online. They are checking you out online. They're looking at your website, looking at your profiles. They're looking for social proof. So they're looking for reviews about you. And therefore, online presence is more important than ever before. Because if people don't know you, then they can't like you and they can't trust you in order to do business with you. So the first stage of any journey towards attracting customers is the awareness phase. You've got to generate awareness of you, your business, your personal brand, in order to take that prospect on a journey from not knowing about you to knowing about you, to starting to like you, to trusting you, and then doing business with you. Those three magic words in marketing of know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I guess, over the course of the last 6 months, or 8 months rather, I have, like MJ said, in terms of being present, you've got to be present and you've got to be consistently present. So whatever platform it is that you pick, don't post and ghost, as they say. Don't post once and then disappear for a month or two. You've got to be consistent. Do it, either weekly or daily, so that your audience gets to expect stuff from you. But I understand that it's very difficult to come up with content ideas. One of the things I hear from my audience, from my people I mentor and coach, is that we don't know what to say. What content should we create? So let's have a bit of discussion around what content should we put out there? How do we get started with content? How do we know what to write, what people will find useful? So Fatima, over to you. Where should somebody start with regards to content creation?
Okay, so when you have a Venn diagram, right? You look at what is it that you're good at, okay? And then your market research, which is what people want, right? That circle in between, that overlaps, that's the kind of content you need to create. Now, you just said that, for example, people get stuck, right? That what kind of content, should I create? It's as simple as nowadays, when you're on Instagram, I'm sure all of you know, if you put up a story and you're like, hey guys, even asking directly, what kind of content do you want to see more, you will get a good response. You see, today when you're asking questions and you want to help people, they'll tell you. Like, so many times when I do that, they'll ask me questions like, hey, how do you conduct market research? How do you create a personal brand? How do you reach the right kind of customers? These are kind of things I get, and then I get the kind of inspiration to do my posts. And I want to also say that, speaking of content, and I actually wrote a book about this, called storytelling. It is so significant that whenever you're posting content, to do it in a story form, because I see a lot of this, and this is where people go wrong, that I see a lot of people, they have this beautiful photo and it might be amazing, but then it's just like a photo and they're like, beach day. Okay, you could be at the beach, but imagine if you were able to tell a story behind that. I recently posted a photo of me playing golf, and I talked about how what self-love means, and that it means self-discipline. And I talked a little bit about that, and that you have to, develop self-discipline in order to love yourself, right? And I just realized the amount of engagement I got on that post was remarkable, because people want to start now talking about it. And then I get even more market, like, I get more engagement because people are like, oh, wow, this is awesome. How do you maintain, attain self-discipline? Where do you start? What do you do? And then you have more ideas for content. So I just want to say that it was MJ, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so MJ, talking about engagement, so significant. If, like, for me, it is fundamental that it's better that you engage with people than think about your next post, because you're wasting your time otherwise. It's so important to give each and every person they've given you their time. It's so important to give them that courtesy, to even write back, to even say thank you so much, like, you like my photo, or you have something to say about it, thank you so much. And even for those people, I know that there's a lot of trolls on Instagram and on social media nowadays, and they have things to say. Dude, be kind, be courteous. You don't have to be rude. That's another thing. I get a lot of people, then there's like a backlash, and then, you have like this whole war going on. There's no need. There's a way to like deal with this gracefully, So those are like, and yeah, so just, I'm not trying to plug this in, but for those who want to know, it's my book called Storyteller, and it's on Amazon if you guys want to get it. It gives you good content ideas too.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fatima, for that. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. If you can learn the art of storytelling, then you can really capture people's attention. And Mahmood is great at this, and I'm sure Mahmood is trained a lot with how to tell good stories, because when you tell good stories, you can really capture someone's attention. You grab your audience, you can take them on a journey, and you can get them to do whatever you want them to do. So everyone go and buy Fatima's book, Learn How to Tell Good Stories, and you'll get amazing engagement online. So Mahmood, over to you. So how, if you were giving advice to someone who is not using social media yet to create content, where should they start?
Okay, so on the topic of storytelling, just today on our coaching circle, what we were talking about was the gift of storytelling. When you storytell, 7 parts of your mind opens up, and when you fact tell, only 2 parts of your mind open up. And people buy based on emotion, and they back it up on logic. So whenever you want to sell to anyone, you've got to be able to get on there with a story and make it emotional, right? So yes, storytelling is absolutely important. Look, everyone's looking for 2 things out there, right? People are looking for leadership, and they're looking for inspiration. So whatever you're trying to post out, just have a look. What do you think people want the most? And most people want answers. Most people want to be led. They want you to show them where to go. And on top of that, what other people want is they just want to be made to feel good in a time like this. Any time, really, they want to be made to feel good. So whenever you're posting, I'd ask yourself 2 questions. Do you think that this is showing me as a leader? Because people will buy from a leader, right? So you are a business owner. You're getting a business brand out there. People will buy from you because you're the one who will give them certainty at a time of uncertainty. But more importantly, you will be a leader to them. And also, people want people to inspire them. So whenever you're looking for content, whatever you're putting out, ask yourself those 2 questions. Is this something, if I put out, would I like to look at this? Is this going to help me? Is there a message in there? So say it was just a selfie of yourself, but maybe there's a quote behind there. Maybe there's something on there where someone can read and go, do you know, wow, that is something which I can use to be able to take me forward. So this is obviously a business arena over here. And we've got people on here who may be wanting to start businesses, people who may have businesses, wherever you are. It's platform, you have to get on these platforms. Like some people are asking, what platforms do I go on? Again, they're different, right? Different platforms. If it's a pure business one, you may want to be on LinkedIn, and there'll be certain types of content, business-related content to put out on LinkedIn. The same content can be put on Facebook, but just change the text of it. So it's a more chilled out version than something on LinkedIn. But yeah, I always say, ask yourself those 2 questions, whatever you put out. The number 1, is it helping someone else, right? Does it show me as a leader? And number 2, will it inspire someone else to be able to go and do something? And people want to engage with leaders, if that answers your question.
Absolutely, definitely. Thank you, Mahmood. MJ, what about you in terms of content creation? I guess your job is you are creating content. That is kind of what you do.
Yeah.
But how did you start with that?
So just before I get into how I started, I just wanted to sort of just jump onto the back of Mahmood's point, if it's all right. Yeah. Look, yes, 100% agree. It's really important, okay, that if you're looking to promote your business, then you have to be there as a thought leader. And one little trick to really get yourself there is that if you are an expert in your field, and if you have been doing something for a long time, then what you need to do is to do simple little videos, like how-to videos. It's evergreen content, and it's always there. For example, if you are a mechanic, all right, How many things are there in a car? Just have a think about it for a second. You got the wheels, so you can do changing tires. What happens if you get a flat tire? How to drive on ice? You got the brakes, okay? You've got the steering wheel. You've got so many components, okay? And straight away, right there, you've got 500 videos ready to do on how to do this, how to do that. And immediately, you're a thought leader. So yes, it's very important. However, there's also another aspect as well that I think we tend to sometimes overlook, and it's a very small aspect, is you are a thought leader, but you're also a person. And the way that business has been going, this is something that I've personally experienced, and I'm sure every industry and every person has experienced this differently. But before, 10 years ago, sales were made like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you know, call after call after call after call, hard sales, push, push, push. Now that's not the case. In order to get any sale pretty much in any industry, it's about getting to know them, who their kids are, what their favorite football team is. If they're a Liverpool fan, then grinning and bearing it, you know, while they chant on about how in 30 years they've won one title, you know, and you're like, oh yes, thank you, sir, that is wonderful. You know, so you just got to basically show a lot more personality. And social media is the best thing for showing personality, you know, that allows people to really connect with you. Now, when it comes to creating content and coming up with ideas, I mean, yeah, this is the hardest thing. I mean, it's probably easier to have an argument with the wife and win than to sit there and come up with the 10 content videos, honestly speaking, you know, even though that is still a challenge, but that's a video for another topic, I think. The way that I tend to sort of go about it is I kind of geek out on this, right? So I'll get my notepad out and just start jotting loads and loads of ideas, you know. And what I tend to do is I like to put the controversial ones right to the top, because as a content creator, I want engagement, right? I want people to be like, what is this guy doing? Oh, too bad, too bad. Because that promotes engagement. It means that people come out. And from there, from the comment section, okay, I get the feedback, I get the comments, right? And I'm then able to produce more videos on that. Now, when I first started, Rizad, just to go back to your question, dude, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I really didn't. I mean, it was just me and my phone and this ugly mug, you know, getting out there on YouTube, in all honesty, right? And it was a case of like, you know what? Just open your mouth and talk. Seriously, just talk, all right? One of the best advices I give to people about content creation is, first and foremost, get used to the camera. So you have a number of different types of content. You've got writing, you know, you've got pictures, but video is the best form. Okay, by the year 2021, 84% of all internet traffic is going to be video. All of you guys right now, what are you doing? You're watching us on video, okay? And this is the future. So first and foremost, okay, all you guys got to do is just get your camera or your phone out and just record yourself. Talk twice a day for 5 minutes about what you've done. That is it. Get comfortable with the phone. And I promise you one thing, the more you do this, oh, and by the way, you don't need to publish those videos. Nobody has to see them, not even your partners. You don't even show them as well. So you can talk about anything you want. And what will happen is that as soon as that camera goes on with practice, you will open your mouth and you will just talk. And the ideas just keep rolling and rolling. So what happens here when you get a piece of content that has had a lot of good engagement, you know, you got over 1,000 likes, millions of views. Simple. You do another video from a different angle on the same topic, or a different blog on the same topic, and you keep doing it until you see that there's a little bit of a downturn. And a massive mistake that a lot of people make is that they'll jump onto a timely piece of content, for example, about Trumpistan or Boris Johnson or whatever. They'll follow, do a piece of content on that. They'll get loads of engagement, and all of a sudden they'll do something about baking cakes. It don't work. People were interested in what you were talking about Trumpistan and Boris Johnson, right? So the whole idea is just to do it again. So you've really got to be, you've got to have your ear to the ground, you know. And another thing as well, just put it out on your social media platforms. What would you guys like to see? Simple. And I've had so many ideas come to me from that. And if you're not getting any ideas, in all honesty, just do content that you enjoy. Because look, one thing that I found is that when you're forcing yourself to do content that you're not enjoying, you don't feel that passion, you don't resonate with it, okay? And when you're not resonating with what you're putting out there, people aren't going to resonate. So if you're putting out content that you truly enjoy, that really drives you and motivates you, automatically people will start coming to it. And then you'll find that you'll create a little niche, within the market, and increase your following that way. And there is no overnight success. It's something you're going to have to work hard at day in, day out.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to answer a question, because there's a sister who's asking quite a few questions. I think it's unfair if we don't kind of.
Yeah, I was just about to come to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought maybe
it's cool.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Which one did you want to answer? Go for it.
There's okay, so I think it's all around the same kind of topic, that it is about the long game. Yeah, like I handle the marketing department of a company, and I'm going to tell you very openly that people at the beginning were like, okay, you were given this position, and what do you have to show for it? I would have thought that, right? But how do I get people to hire me to speak? How do I get people to hire me to give them business advice for me? So what I had to do is I've spoken at around 100 events now. I've interviewed over 50 women. I've had to write 2 books. So it is about the long game. It's really tough. It's not easy. You have to sort of make your mark and have that sort of that validity, and have people understand that you are capable and what you're doing for them to approach you, right? That's number 1. And 2, I think that one of the things that I've learned is that contacts are like, I think I know the industry she's in. Like if it's photography, okay, let's just say it's photography, right? Get in touch with other photographers. Try to get you guys collaborate, even if it's a live video, where you're exchanging views on a topic. Like things like that will get you more followers, and hence more sales. And I think that, like I said, it's more important that you engage and you, let's say, post 3 or 4 times a week than you just post something and leave it. Yeah. And one of the most important things I think that I've learned has helped me is that you have to give out free information first. Okay. Today, let's say, I do marketing, and I also do marketing consultation. So I give out so many free tips on marketing. I would get tired where I'm like just giving out free information, making videos on marketing hacks, like doing carousels on marketing, like posting stories on marketing, until you get to a point where you're just like, okay, why isn't this getting anywhere? But then one day, if you keep doing it consistently, something clicks, And I think the problem with people is they put too much pressure on perfection. Yeah. Like there's no such thing as perfection. There's so much content out there that people have 6 seconds to look at your video and be like, okay, cool, learn 1 lesson, goodbye. Like no one cares about how perfect everything looks. And this is one thing that I don't understand, like this whole idea of having this grid and okay, unless you're in an aesthetic business, and obviously people look at that. But when I, as Fatima, I think about it, I think to myself, hey, you know what? I want to add value to people so that they can come to me if they need advice on marketing. So how do I do that? I give them free information, free tips. I'll sit in my car. I'll be like, hey, today's hack of the day. I'll go into the market, doing market research. I'll be like, hey, this is what I learned today that you could put into your business. That you could sort of, an angle that you could use in your business. So this idea of perfection, just lose it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of just resource. It's a waste of everything. Just do the content and put it out there. That's that one thing that I truly believe in.
Really well said.
Really. If I can jump in, Raza, if I can jump in.
Keep your answers short, guys, so we can get around and we can answer all the questions. I've got questions. Everyone else has got questions. So try and keep it short, guys.
Let's keep it short. One thing, right? Rather than trying to create content specifically for something every single day, one thing, the best thing you can do is just kind of document what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, just take a photo, right? Write something about it. So rather than creating content just for the fact of creating content, just document your journey. Right? Whatever you're doing, just don't make things specifically for the camera, but get things on camera of what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. I think what you said, Mahmood, before about the two things, I'd echo that in terms of, I have three things in my head when I'm thinking about content. One is either to educate, the other one is to entertain, or it's to inspire. I'm not good at entertaining, so I try and educate and inspire. But if some people are good at entertaining, like MJ, so MJ will entertain you, and that is a way of getting people hooked on your content. Now, there is a great book, by the way, if you want a book recommendation on content, called They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And that book will teach you where to get started with content. And actually, the summary of the book is that think about the questions that your prospects are asking, questions in their head about wanting to do business with you. And your prospects' questions will not be dissimilar to the questions that your current customers are asking. So to systemize that, you can create content based on the questions that you're getting asked by your customers. So the more questions you're being asked, document that, write it down, and then create content on it. You don't have to do videos, although videos are the best way to connect with your audience. If you're not quite there, ready for videos yet, start doing blog posts or social, written stuff, blog posts, social posts, Twitter, that sort of thing. Then you can, or even audio. So if you're ready for audio, do podcasts, and when you're ready for video, then you can go and do video. But video is big, as MJ said. So moving on to one of the other questions. So if people are, someone is asking, you're engaging, you're putting out content, and you're telling stories, but you're still not growing. Now what?
Long game.
Do you want to come in on that one, Mahmood?
Yeah, long game, right? None of this is going to happen overnight. It's the long game, and the one who holds their breath for the longest will win. And it's just like in any business, right? You got to have grit. Most people give up early on because they don't see results. Okay, I posted out content for 2 years before I asked anything about any sell. I 2 years, content, and it's just that you need to understand that this doesn't happen overnight, right? And it's going to be the long game when you post out. And if you can give enough to people, and you give it for free, and you give your best stuff out there, people will come back to you. Okay, but a lot of people are out there a month, 2 months, or they've tried it for a couple of weeks and they're not seeing much traction. And it's like, do you know what? This stuff doesn't work. It does work. It's just sometimes we don't work, and we just need to spend longer in there. We need to go in with that mindset, knowing it's a long game. There's either two ways of going on this, right? Either we need to make money quickly, okay, so then we don't have an opportunity to play the long game. Social media may not work for that. But if you're growing a business right now and you can play the long game, then you need to.
Okay, so can I just add to that one as well? 100%, it's all about the long game. You post whatever out there, yeah, and if you get 10 views, 10 likes, 10 whatever, that's a good thing. However, there's also something else that we can do, and that's pretty much from your first post, and that is SEO, social search engine optimization. Now, whether you're posting on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or on YouTube, you've got to basically optimize your title, your description, and all of your copy around that. What does that mean? Simple. Your title has to be basically, excuse the phrase, but it's got to be clickbait. It's got to be bam. Somebody reads like, whoa, what's going on here? Secondly, your description as well. Optimize it. Okay, think to yourself, if somebody is searching for, I don't know, a glass, okay, what sort of search terms are they going to use? Best glass, okay? So somewhere in your description, within the first 100 characters, have the word best glass, okay? You've got so many free tools on Google, okay? Do a Google keyword search, okay? And you'll find the list of terms that are being searched for by people on Google, so you can then basically optimize your video or your picture or your blog post on glasses. And straight away, you'll find that this will start happening, that people will automatically discover you. And again, it goes back to engagement. If you're especially looking for growth, once you've done the content that you like, once you've optimized your title and your description, which, by the way, SEO is a really deep topic. And if you can master SEO, you're done, okay? Once you've done all of that, then focus on the engagement. Set up a little WhatsApp group with everyone around you, and I promise you, when you start sending it around, getting people to like it, automatically you'll go up in the rankings, straight away. So this is what I've personally used, to really help me grow, which was search engine optimization. I didn't know nothing about it before. Could barely spell it, SEO. But now that you've mastered it, that I've learned about it, it's really helped me to grow. It's got one or two more videos to even rank, which alhamdulillah, I'm really pleased about. So definitely look at SEO.
Thank you, MJ. Thank you. Yeah, definitely with content, it is a long game. You've got to plant those seeds now, and they will definitely generate fruits for you in the long term, because most people, they might do 1 or 2 pieces of content and they'll give up because they're not seeing instant results. And therefore, if you stick at it for long enough, you'll start to see those fruits that other people don't have the patience to hang around for and wait to see it and benefit from. So there's another question on here, which I will put to Fatima. The gist of it is, given the time's constraints involved in posting content and journals and chatting online, can I or should I recruit someone to build my brand on social media platforms, or does this lose authenticity? Also, how do I know which is the right platform for me? I'm not currently on Facebook, nor I'm active on LinkedIn, etc. So Fatima, should you recruit someone, or do you have to do it yourself?
Okay, so I have 2 answers for this, because we have the company brand, okay, which is METL brand that I don't run. I come up with the content in terms of content ideas with the company that I work with, but very closely. But they're the ones that post and do all the engagement. But when it comes to my personal brand, I completely understand how difficult it is, because I also do 100 things a day. It's not easy, which is why I said, even start slowly. Nobody said, you have to be on all platforms. Let's say, you are, it depends on what kind of business you're in, and you look at the kind of business you're in and the kind of customers you're looking for, and then look at what kind of platform best suits you. I think that's also very, very important. And as for authenticity, look, you can maybe post, the content, come up with the content ideas, post, and have somebody, I know a lot of influencers who have somebody handle their engagement and handle, that part of things. I don't think that there's a problem with that, as long as it's your sort of personality that seeps through, the brand. I mean, and the post that you're writing. So I think it's important.
Mahmoud, what's your perspective on that? Should you do it yourself, or can you engage someone to do it for you?
Okay, so up to 2 things here: time versus money, right? You've either got more time, less money, or less money, more time, right? So early on, when you're starting a business, when I started my business early on, I used to do everything, right? My son used to do my editing, used to fly around the world with me. We used to, do all the videos, and that's how we used to do everything, right? It all used to be down to me. Now, because alhamdulillah, the business has grown and I've got the capacity, I've built my own team up outside, who now builds all of they do all my social media content with me. Okay, so they build everything, and now I'm still posting it, but they're going to be posting it very soon. But it's all led by me, and I've got teams over here who are doing all my content creation over here and over there. But now it's because because I don't have that much time, and my time now is spent, meeting people, closing deals, actually growing my business right now. And the time I'm going to spend doing all of that, it's not going to be worth it. So now I give it to someone, but it's a team I've built up, so they know exactly my brand, what I want, and what I want from it. So early on, when you're starting a business, you can do it yourself. It is not difficult at all to do that. We're talking about 1 post a day, 1 post every other day. It's pretty simple to do, right? Yeah, my kids used to run everything for me now. So now it's different. So I would say that if you can afford it, yes. But even when you're starting this up, it's good to do it yourself, just to give you the practice. Because if you lost that team later on, then at least you can bring it in-house.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Mahmoud. I definitely echo that. Certainly, the good thing about social media is that there is practically 0 barriers to entry. Anyone can do it, as long as you've got a smartphone and you can stick it in front of you, or you press the record button and you start recording, or you start typing. There is 0 barrier to entry for you actually to publish your content, to get your message out there to your target audience. So definitely you can start yourself. And I know people who have got huge followings just off the back of their videos that they recorded on their iPhone. And with the connection we talked about before, that there is no B2B or B2C anymore. It's all become H to H, human to human. People buy from people. People want to connect with you. They want to see your vulnerabilities. They want to see you in all your authenticity. So the more you can relate and reach out to your prospective customers, the more you'll be able to attract them through the content that you personally put out. Okay.
Sorry, can I just sorry, Reza, sorry to jump in there, right? Just wanted to add one more thing, okay, to about posting personally, right? Automation, okay? You will find that there are so many softwares out there that you can automate your own posts. So yes, if you can afford it, get a team, somebody you can work with day in, day out. But if you can't, then look at softwares like Hootsuite, okay, where you can simply sit there for one day, okay, or even 3 hours and post all of your content and schedule it for the next month. Now, something like that allows you to maintain your personality. It allows you to keep control, okay? And it's cost effective as well. So that's another option I think that is definitely worth exploring, or at least looking up.
Thank you, MJ. Okay, so someone has asked this question, and I had it written down to ask you guys as well. In a nutshell, what is your favorite platform, your preferred platform of choice, and why? So Fatima, you want to go first on this one?
Instagram, for sure. I love it because it just, I am able to do so many things. I think that with Instagram, I'm able to, make videos. I'm able to write on there. I'm able to explore so many different kinds of creatives on there, even going live. I think it's amazing. It's such an amazing tool that I used so much more often during this period, this pandemic, where, I could go live and really be authentic and talk about what's going on and how I feel about certain things, how I feel about marketing in such a situation and things like that.
Excellent. Mahmoud, what's yours?
When I'm looking at a social media platform, I'm looking at one simple thing now is conversion rate. And that conversion rate is from the content I give out, how many sales can I make back, how much money can I bring into the business from one post or from one talk. And so for me at the moment, it's between Instagram and LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably higher at the moment. No, Instagram's probably higher than LinkedIn. LinkedIn's taking over soon. So my thing is, what is my revenue generation from these platforms? That's what I'm looking at right now. So for me, it's LinkedIn and Instagram.
Thank you. MJ, I think we all know what yours is.
You'd be surprised, mate. Okay, so yeah, look, I've actually got two main favorite ones. First of all, YouTube with my channel, Sayers Life, and my other second favorite, first joint favorite platform is Facebook. The reason I love Facebook, not only just for personal use, but also for business use, is it really enables me to start a conversation. And that's what gets people hooked. I think we had a question up there that if I'm busy posting content, how do I sell? Easy. Through conversations online. That is a new form of selling, right? So by starting conversations, by engaging in other groups, with other people on other posts, I learn a lot. I really learn a lot. And of course, YouTube is like, hey, that's like my bread and butter right now, So YouTube is always good. I do like Instagram as well. Love LinkedIn. Twitter, never been able to get my head around. I don't even think people still use Twitter, do they? I mean, I don't know. I know Donald Trump does, but I don't know if anyone else does right now.
Thank you, MJ.
Reza, just 1 second. If I can jump in one very important thing, which I missed out. When you're posting on social media, there's two ways you could post out. You've got your kind of organic growth, which is when you post it out and people are going to see it, so whoever's in your circle. But then you've got a paid system. And for me, for Facebook, having paid ads is super important. And we've never had the opportunity in the history of the world, except now, where we can get the right type of message in front of the right person. So say, for example, you are an accountant, right? And say that your target market are men who are over 50, who have businesses worth over $1 million, for example, right? You could target your ad just to people who are in golf clubs, for example, right? Because they're going to be maybe your target market. And for me, Facebook and Instagram, for the paid ads are super, super important. Paid ads are very cheap at the moment, especially as we're coming out of lockdown. A lot of people pulled money out of marketing when they should have put money into marketing, right? So the whole landscape's really changed. But I mean, Facebook ads is the cheapest and Instagram ads are very, very cheap right now. So you could get your message in front of the right type of person. Imagine before we had newspapers, right? They would go to maybe 1,000 houses, right? 100 may have picked the newspaper up and maybe 5 would have seen your ad. And what's the likelihood that they're the person that you want to engage with? Here, you've actually got a way to send out that message to the exact person you want to see. And you can have it in a 5-mile radius around your house, around your office, wherever you want. So only the person who you want will see that ad. And that's very, very, very powerful. That has the ability to change any business. So if you could learn how to use something like paid ads for Facebook, paid ads for Instagram, LinkedIn paid ads are more expensive, but still they're okay. It can phenomenally change your business around.
Can I just add one point? Sorry, just like one really small point. I think it's all about creating a fan base. And I don't mean fans who are like crazy about you. I mean fans who will buy whatever buy whatever you put out there, like whether it's buying your books, whether it's because a lot of people, they think following is so important, right? Like, oh my God, I have so many followers, right? But how many of those followers are actually going to convert into actual customers, right? So it's so important to have those fans who you really connect with through whatever we've spoken about, whether it is engaging with them so much or, putting out the content that they really love in order to convert them into, your potential customers.
Thank you. So I guess to add to that, from my perspective, where you want to be with social media is think about where is your audience hanging out. So you should know who your customer is, who your prospective customers are. Where do they hang out? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram? Where are they? And that should then help you to steer as to where you need to be. My audience is accountants. I know accountants hang out on LinkedIn. So I made a concert effort to focus all my marketing efforts in LinkedIn because I know my accountant audience hangs out there. And that's why for me, LinkedIn has been my platform of choice to generate the levels of engagement that I need to funnel into leads for my business. And at the moment, LinkedIn is one of the fastest growing platforms, which means that it still has organic reach. And what that means is that the platform will show your stuff to people who are not part of your connections. This doesn't happen on Facebook anymore. Hence, you need to use Facebook paid ads, because what happens to the platform as they get more and more usage is that they don't show your stuff for free anymore. You've got to pay for them to show your stuff to your wider connections, people who are not part of your audience. So LinkedIn at the moment, if you're not on LinkedIn and your audience is, get onto LinkedIn because it's still giving free organic reach. And as Mahmoud said, Facebook paid ads is great for getting right in front of your target audience. If you know who it is, where they hang out, and you have a clear message that can land with your potential audience. So the next question is, okay, so how do we now, social media is great. However, there's a famous saying, don't build your mansion on rented land. Social media is rented land. The algorithms are here today giving you great reach. They won't be there tomorrow. So how do you ensure that you use social media as a way to generate awareness and interest? How are you guys taking your potential customers from social media and generating them into customers? What do your funnels look like? So, Mahmoud, you go first.
Right, okay. Conversion, most important thing. So for me, I want to give as much as I can for free, right? I want to give so much value. And when people think, if Mahmoud gives us this much for free, imagine how much he'll give us if we paid for it, right? Whenever I speak, I'm not worried about speaking about what I do, the courses I have, the mentoring I do, and how much I charge and things like that. I want people to know. I want people to know how good I am. I want people to know that I can change their life. I want people to know that I can generate the money online. I want people to know what I do. And so I'll put out content from there, and then people will message. That's one way. People message, Mahmoud, how can you help me? Then it'll begin that conversation over there. And I'll have different conversations on Facebook, on Instagram, and things like that. But also when I'm recording, for example, when I'm doing a live on Facebook, I'll have a YouTube feed up, I'll have an Instagram feed up. So I'll have 3 different feeds coming up because there'll be people on my Instagram, one on my Facebook, people on Facebook, one on my Instagram. And then I'll create, even what I've spoken on there, I'll create content from that. But the main thing is that I want everyone to know, because a lot of us, we speak on social media, but people don't know what we do. I want people to know that I'm the kind of person who can help mentor coach you to start up a new business if you want one, or I can help you generate money online, or I can come into your firm and I can, I can teach you leadership. I can teach you how to speak, because when I was younger, I wasn't able to speak, okay, because I had a stutter. And now this is what I do to other people. So I will never worry about putting it out there. I won't sell. It's not about that, but I'll seed plant wherever I go. I want people to know. And I would, so whenever there's a time when I want, like I've opened up a course or whatever, things like that, I will get a little more active on social media and I'll talk about it. For example, someone mentioned about LinkedIn, right? What's my LinkedIn procedure like? So for example, I have software right now where I connect with about 100 people a day. I'll reach out to them and I'll let them know exactly what I do and how I can help them. And from the back end of it, I'll start having conversations. And then I've got, part of my team, we can call them, or I'll call them myself, whatever stage they're at. And then people are in LinkedIn to do business. People aren't there to have a little chat. They're there because they want to know whether you can help them. And that's it. But then the main thing is how you close someone. And sometimes we're very scared to ask for that close because we feel bad. But my point is that, if you've got a gift, and this is your gift, and business is about your gift, that if you cannot close people, then you'll never bring them into your ecosystem. And so you need to be able to talk about these things, talk about money openly, so that people can come into your ecosystem and you can actually close them so you can serve them. Because if you can't serve them, you'll never be able to help them. And if they're not in your ecosystem, you'll never be able to help them. So let people know what you do. A lot of us, we don't tell people what we do. We put a content out there, but at the end, what is it that we do? They don't know. And imagine if you put a poll out there and said, guys, tell me, what do I do? What do you think people would reply? Some people just wouldn't know.
Exactly. Thank you, Mahmoud. Fatima, what does your kind of customer journey look like?
I think you asked the question that basically what would happen if it's like social media just shut down, right? One day, right? Essentially, it's all about database, and database is money, right? Today, whenever I give out a free lesson or whatever, it's very important to collect email addresses, right? It's very important to create that database for yourself, because those are the people who are interested in, let's say you have an event and they decide to come to that event. Those people are mostly interested in buying your book. Those people are mostly interested in doing, in attending another event that you have, right? So I think that all businesses, whatever you're in, you have to make sure that you're constantly updating your database. That is just key for me.
Thank you. Very valid point, Fatima. I would definitely echo that in a similar way, that social media is great for the top of the funnel, as we would say in marketing, where you're generating that awareness. There are 4 stages of the customer journey. The first is the awareness phase, where people don't know about you and they get to know about you. The second is the interest phase. So your awareness has piqued their interest into something that you are doing. The third stage is desire. So this is where you allow them, you give them some reason to want to buy from you. And then the fourth stage is action, where you actually close them and you make them a customer. So you need to take your customer through this journey of awareness, interest, desire, and action. And social media is great for the first stage of the awareness stage, where you root out the people who really are interested in what you do, and you funnel them in, as Fatima said, into an email database, because social media is rented land. What you want to get that prized possession, someone's email address, into your email list, which you can then nurture. You nurture that prospect by sending them regular emails, by keeping connected with them, by inviting them to your events, by offering them, small things to buy from you. And then eventually, when the time is right and when they're ready to take action, they will buy from you. But it's important to have that awareness that it's not simply, you may get some instant business from social media, but rather use it as an awareness phase to get people into your funnel and take them on a journey of nurturing before they actually buy from, before you sell to them. MJ, what does your funnel look like?
Okay, so I've got 2 approaches. Okay, first and foremost, without a doubt, engage on social media, chat, and close. Okay, and the other is basically word by mouth, which, to be honest with me, for the first time in my life, and surprisingly in the digital age, is working better. Let me give you a case in point. Like Mahmoud, you and I, we work together, right? I do your videos for you. Yeah.
A little plug there. Love
Yeah,
it.
I know, right? For example, okay, how did that happen, right? Mahmood had seen some of my videos, he obviously couldn't get me out of his head because I'm always in the background chatting away at football, this, that, and the other. And one day it was a case of like, look, let's, what can you do? For me, it's always been more about telling the story of my clients, of the people that I'm working with. And it's a case of really understanding what you want the end result to be. Once I've understood what the end result is, understood the story, it is then my job to reverse engineer that and tell that story for each and every one of my clients, whatever it is, and to make sure that that action that they want to happen happens. Now, through that, making videos with Mahmood, about his courses and some amazing inspirational videos, people see them, they say, oh, who made them? And he's like, yeah, it's this guy over there with a nice beard, apparently, and that way, we get into contact and like vice versa, it's about that networking aspect. So a lot of business for me has come through there. Also with my YouTube channel as well, just general content, live streaming has worked brilliantly for me where, I've done a lot of live streaming, especially over the pandemic, about content creation specifically, which is my niche. And through there, people come and then like Fatma and yourself said, you get the contact details, you maintain contact with them. For me, emails always used to work, but for some reason right now, especially nowadays, WhatsApp seems to me be the best thing for me. You got someone's mobile number and you chat to them on a very personal level. You're part of a group, networking. So for me, that's what my customer journey looks like.
Brilliant. Thank you, MJ. So there's the question here. Let's start answering a few of these questions. I don't want people to think that we're ignoring them. So question is that as business owners, we find it so easy that people can post negative reviews on social media. Can you talk about how to deal with these types?
Can I jump in with this? Can I jump in? Yeah, okay. So let me jump in with this. This is a big one, right? Because a lot of the times, the reason people post negatively about you is because they've got an insecurity about them. And I always say that don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't go and take advice from. Okay. Now, the bigger you get, the bigger target you become, right? That's how life is. I remember that I put a video out for Muslim Vibe TV. It was about a year ago, and it was an inspirational video. And alhamdulillah, I actually did pretty well. Within 24 hours, we got, it was about, I think, about 30, 40,000 views. We got loads of comments. It just went really well. But people are very negative in there. They started talking about haircut, like it's a haram haircut. Why have you got a haircut like that? And all these kind of things. And one person actually put a picture of a monkey up, and they put a picture of me up, and they said, look, this is what you look like. And this whole conversation started about how they thought and all of this. And I looked at it, and I actually laughed at it. And I thought, wow, people actually have so much time in their day to take out and think about me. Okay, so the way I would see is that whenever you get out there, people are going to be there trying to put you down. Because, people, when you go on this journey, it means that you're getting out of your comfort zone. To get out of your comfort zone, you have to challenge your biggest fear. Your biggest fear is failure. When people see you growing, for other people, it's hard to grow. So they've got two options. They can either grow, get out of their comfort zone and challenge their biggest fear, or they can try and pull you down. For most people, trying to pull someone down is a lot easier to trying to bring themselves up. So a lot of people, what they will do is because of their own insecurities, they will bring you down. Okay, they'll try that. And you've seen that in our community, right? When something bad happens, WhatsApp's everywhere, right? But you never get that about good things. Why? Because that's the way people are. So when you go into this, you've got to understand that it is going to happen, and you just got to learn to put it aside. Maybe it won't happen, but more than likely it will.
So, okay, can I jump in on that one as well, just after Mahmood, right? So, in terms of practical applications, okay, negative reviews are really, really damning for any business, okay, because it'll decrease the search results. And as consumers, when we buy, what's the first thing that we do? Is read a review. I just bought like a pair of shoes, and the first thing I did is read reviews, right? So negative reviews can have a massive negative impact on a business. And I've had personal experience with this, where one of my ex-business partners within a recruitment firm was a little bit upset that I went and set up on my own, and he basically got loads of people to leave loads of negative reviews. All right. So there's a number of ways that you can handle it. I'm going to give you guys some tips, okay, on guerrilla marketing tactics and how to handle it, and basically when you should be standing your ground and when you should be polite. First and foremost, okay, if you know that if a review is false. And let's be honest, as business owners, we know if somebody has posted a false review, whether it's a competitor or somebody just, just being jealous of you and they just want to spite you, right? So what you do is you can approach it in a very simple, like, thank you so much, we will look into it and come back to you. Okay. The other aspect is that if you know that it's false and that they're lying through their teeth, you know what? Call them out on it. Call them out on it. I mean, to give you an example, okay, somebody left a review on my a recruitment firm, okay, saying that they got the worst service ever. Fine. I had a feeling that it was a negative, that it was a fake comment, right? So I just asked them, okay, who was it you dealt with? They took a name. Clearly, it was on my website. All my staff that worked for me, their names were there. I said, okay, tell me, describe the situation. They went on to describe, okay, a situation and a job that never existed. And publicly, they basically made themselves look like liars that they were, right? The other aspect is that you stand up for it and you call them out on it straight away, all right? Now, let's say, for example, none of this works, right? Another guerrilla digital marketing tactic is very, very simple. They have left a negative comment. Now, before I tell you guys about this, okay, this is a bit of a taboo, okay? You will either agree with it or you will not agree with it. Wherever you stand on the fence, this works. If somebody has posted a negative comment on your website or on Google or whatever, all you got to do is bury it. And how do you do that? You one negative comment, you put 5 positive comments on top. Yeah, you get 2 negative comments, you get 10 people to put 10 positive comments on top, and all of a sudden, boom, that negative comments goes down. So for that one negative comment, you're getting 5 to 10 people saying it's amazing. Straight away, you will find that out of 4.75 stars, you've probably gone down to 4.73 stars. Okay, so that still works. That still works. You may not agree with it. Some people do frown upon it, but it is a tactic, and obviously, this is another way to go about it.
Thank you.
Can I add something?
Fatima, can I ask you a different question? I think we've given enough
Sure.
time to that particular question. There was a question that came in earlier, which I think we missed. If you could summarize yourself in a hashtag, what would it be? So just one word, one hashtag.
Yeah, I would say hustle. But my
You took mine.
no, my idea. I have a whole range of what do you call it? I have an entire range of journals that I created called the Hustle. That I want to show you, but anyways, I'll show you guys later. So basically, my idea of a hustle is very different from what a hustle actually means. I don't believe in this whole idea of a burnout. I don't believe that you need to kill yourself and risk your mental health, your physical health to get to where you want to be. I think that for me, a hustle means that at the end of the day, when you're reflecting on your day, you think to yourself, was I a better person than I was the day before? Did I do better? Did I make an impact? For me, that's what a hustle means. It's not grinding. And I think that it's so bad for your mental health. This whole concept of like people endorsing this idea of like, yeah, you got to wake up at like 6 and like, yeah, I do it. I do it because I love it. I wake up really, really early in the morning. I work, I work like a mad person, but I also have learned in the last few years that if I don't take care of myself and I don't get enough sleep and I'm not eating, like, what are you living for? I don't understand. So my hustle is be a better person, make a difference, make an impact. Care is more important than career. You have to care about people. You have to care about their needs. And one of the things I want to sort of just leave with is that my professor said that, in order to be, and this has stayed with me for so many years, and this is the reason why I do a lot of what I do, is that he said that in order to be successful and happy, you have to make a difference in the lives of others. And this guy was a business professor. And I was shocked because today a business professor, you would assume would be teaching you about trying to make money and trying to just get ahead and be the shark. I was in a top finance school, and everybody was a shark in that school trying to get on Wall Street. But I honestly have redefined what a hustle means.
Thank you, Fatima. Mahmoud, what's your hashtag?
See, I would go with hashtag hustle, but see what Fatima said.
Can't copy someone else.
No, that wasn't her. That wasn't her hashtag. It wasn't the hustle, right? It was. You said it wasn't a normal hustle. I actually do believe in a normal hustle. I really do. I actually do believe in a normal hustle. But what Fatima said is, that it doesn't come from the fact that you have to do it. It comes from the fact that you want to do it. Like, I want to wake up at 5. I want to wake up at 6. I want to, be working 15, 16, 20 hours a day at times. I want to because I love it. And I know how important this is to me. So I'm going to put up a question right now about your why. Is this my why? That I know that, my gift right now is I know that I can impact the most amount of people on this earth that I can. And for me, every minute matters. Every hour matters. What am I doing with my hour? Or what am I doing with my minutes? I know I've got my family. I know I've got this. And for me, this is everything, right? This is my oxygen. This is what I live for, because I know how much I can do. So for me, it does become about, like, really focus, especially in lockdown. It's been like, for me, the whole world's sleeping and I can get ahead. Well, this is the time to actually get ahead. And so I really want everyone to know that you want to start a business, you want to flourish, it's work ethic, right? And it's tough and it's not easy. And everyone thinks like, having your own business is easy, and everyone thinks being successful is easy. It's not. And we all know, right, the amount of hard work which goes into making something which is going to work. If you want a 1% life, which is a life on your terms, you don't have to go to the office every day, you have to do those kind of things. You've got to do what 1% of the people in the world can do, right? And not many can go through this. But if you want that life, you've got to do it. So mine's hashtag hustle.
Excellent. MJ, you got an hustle? Quickly.
See,
sorry, you got a hashtag, not a hustle.
Yeah, well, my hustle, I've got many, right? But my hashtag, I think, would totally depend on who you ask, and it'll vary. But if you're asking me specifically, in all honesty, I think my hashtag would be hashtag no crap, pure and simple, because I think in life, it's so easy that we get walked over and we fall into a trap where we're just coasting along. And for me personally, it took a heart attack, a slap in the face, for me to realize that, nah, you know what? I'm living life for other people, but it's now time that I live life for myself. And part of that thing was just taking no crap from anyone, okay? Doing what I want to do, obviously within Sharia compliant laws, right? But to do it for me, to do it because I want to do it, which is basically why I am all of a sudden, turned into a filmmaker, content creator, making tons of videos for clients, for myself, purely because I'm not taking any rubbish from anyone, and I'm going to tell it and say it as it is. And as far as being judged goes, look, our community, we judge each other, the Auntie Network will know that you've done something bad before you've even done it, right? So fine, just say it as it is, people are going to talk no matter what. So just take no crap, hashtag.
Thank you, MJ. Luckily we passed 9, so that's okay. And for me, it's probably a similar sort of thing. Mine would probably be hashtag challenge the status quo. Ask yourself, what is broken so I can fix it? Entrepreneurs and small business owners are not one and the same. Small business owners are owners of small businesses. Entrepreneurs solve problems. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a budding entrepreneur, and you really want to set the world alight and change the world and make a difference, then start solving problems. Start solving problems, challenging the way things have been done. Just because something's always been done a certain way doesn't mean that it always has to be done in a certain way. Because if you always do, we've always done, you'd always get what you've always got. So challenge the status quo, and through that, you'll be able to solve problems. You'll think of new things. You'll become more creative. You'll get ahead whilst others are left behind. So that would be my hashtag. So guys, I think we've gone over time. If there's no other questions, then last words. So final pieces, one piece of advice, if you can kind of truncate it into 30 seconds, I'll go around the room. Mahmoud, do you want to go first for our
fine.
One piece of advice?
Fine. You've got a time right now. There's an opportunity where you can really do something you really want to do. I was in a place for a long time where I wasn't really enjoying life. And I would ask yourself that, are you happy with what you're doing right now? And if the answer is no, then you've got two options, right? You can either continue doing what you're doing and one day you'll come back and you'll regret it, which is the biggest regret people have in life, or you can actually do something about it right now. My worry is if you don't do it, that you've got enough help around you right now to be able to start up that thing, whatever you want to do. So go do it, right? Jump off the cliff. Allah opens your parachute when you jump. Parachutes don't open when you're standing still. Take that jump. Do what you want to do. One life, right? No one's coming back. That's it. Raza, I'm out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. Fatima, what's your one piece of advice for the audience?
Because I'm the only female here, I want to say something to the women in the group, and it's that all my life I have believed in breaking stereotypes, and I believe that our religion is so empowering towards women, and I want to encourage women to break these cultural stereotypes, to really do what they're passionate about, and most importantly, not make excuses, not blame circumstances, and really live their full potential. That's my piece of advice.
Thank you. MJ, parting words from you?
Say it as you see it. At the end of the day, whatever's in your heart should be on your tongue as well. There are too many times that we keep quiet as people, as human beings. And with the modern world that we're living in, we have a number of mediums in which we can air our opinions and our thoughts and engage with people from all over the world. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. People are going to judge you. They're going to talk no matter what happens. But at least if you're going out there using social media, using video, you're going to do amazing things, and believe in yourself. I mean, I'm here to help anyone that wants to do this. And you know what? Power to you, man.
Thank you, MJ. And I would echo the sentiments of my fellow panelists. Just get started. Don't wait for perfection to get started. Done is better than perfect. So get on there, you'll learn it. They say it takes 100 videos for you to actually be comfortable and get traction. So don't wait for it to be perfect to get started. Get on there. The world has changed. We're living in a digital age. If your work is not online, it doesn't exist. And I will leave with those parting words. So is there anyone from college who would like to say the final words before we close for today? Dad, are you here?
Yes, thank you very much for the wonderful and amazing interaction. The attendees, I feel, have been quite engaging, and I'm sure they will take away things that they have had concerns or ideas that they've wanted to explore. So inshallah, with all your journeys that have been highlighted, somebody will be inspired, and that will be worth all this effort that we're doing. So thank you very much again, and I hope that in future webinars that will be more engagement, and we will explore this platform going forward to benefit our community. From Khoja office bearers, we thank the panelists, Fatima all the way from Dar, Mahmoud locally, MJ, and Riza. Thank you very much all for this wonderful experience, and Ma'as salam.
Alaikum salam. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.